Hey everybody, Scott Spreitzer here, DocSports.com with a report for Wednesday, August 15th. Free pick coming up in just a moment and a lot of college football to talk about. We'll get to that. First, a quick note, if you've yet to become a member over at DocSports.com, give it a try. All you got to do is click on the link below the video and get set up for a free $60 account on Wednesday. You'll be glad you did. Also, don't forget about those early bird discounted packages in college and NFL. They're up right now exclusively at DocSports.com, and we are now just 10 days away from college football kickoff 2018. We've got preseason football back in action on Thursday. We've got our biggest play of the preseason going, and it will be available on Thursday afternoon at Doc Sports. Also, we won again last night. In fact, a free play, premium play sweep last night, and the premium play was the St. Louis Cardinals, a nice 5-unit play. And that makes us now 10-2 in August of baseball, up $3,900+. And we're now 13-3 in the month of August when you toss in football along with baseball combined. 13-3, and we're up nearly $5,000 in the month of August through the first 14 days of the month. And don't forget, on Wednesday, we've got a big 7-star main event going. And these plays are 46 and 24, our last 70. And those are the biggest plays I have. It's at Doc Sports. It'll be up on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. We look to extend our baseball August mark to 11-2 and our overall premium mark to 14-3 for the month of August. 7-star baseball side going on Wednesday and available at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. All right, free pick for baseball. Again, we won last night. We're going to look to keep it going with the play on Wednesday in just a moment. First, a quick note. I wanted to mentioned last night that I wanted to talk a little bit about college football and the betting report in college football week 1 action. We've got our update. I want to thank Michael Grodsky and the folks at William Hill for emailing these numbers to us on Tuesday evening. And let me just tell you where the betting action is thus far, according to William Hill. I'll let you know where the lines are and, of course, where my numbers happen to be right now on some of these games. The opening night, you've got Hawaii taking on Colorado State. That one is getting both Joe's and Pro's money. Ticket count 74% on Colorado State, and the against the spread total money taken 92% taken on Colorado State. They're laying 14, which is exactly where I made my power rating, Colorado State 14 over Hawaii. The public and the sharp action also both on Central Florida. In their particular game, a couple of days after that, Central Florida laying 24 in the game. And Central Florida, by the way, getting about 76% of the spread tickets, 96%. Believe it or not, Central Florida getting 96% of the money against the spread, according to William Hill. Also, the following week after that Colorado State-Hawaii game, part of a 2-game opener, that following week you got Wake Forest taking on Tulane. Real quick note, that Wake Forest quarterback has been suspended for the first couple of games of the season, and we see Wake Forest a 7-point favorite over Tulane. Now, here's my number. If they did have a problem with the suspension at quarterback, Wake Forest would be 11 points better in this game for me than Tulane as far as my power ratings are concerned. The number, though, right now, Wake Forest 7. And again, once again, the public and the sharp action lining up with about 89% of the ATS tickets on Wake, 96% of the total money against the spread on Wake Forest. Next game up, going in schedule order, our first Joe's versus Pros game to talk about. Utah State taking on Michigan State in East Lansing. And Michigan State laying about 23.5 in that one. The tickets have gone towards Utah State. You know from our Mountain West preview that we did over a month ago that we think Utah State is a team that is going to win more than their posted win total, which was around 7.5. But in this particular game at Michigan State, they are getting 61% of the tickets, the public money. Meanwhile, the pros about 53% on Michigan State as far as the overall money taken in the game. It's on Michigan State. Skip down a few games on the schedule. Army and Duke doing battle, where Duke's laying about 13.5. I actually made Duke 15.5 points better according to my power ratings. And I wanted to bring it up for just a minute because you'll remember when we did our ACC preview a few weeks ago how high we are on Duke, and we actually think that they are a dark horse in the ACC. 97% of the money against the spread in this game are on the Duke Blue Devils. So certainly a sharp play on Duke thus far. And again, they're about a 13.5-point favorite over Army. Back to both the Sharps and the Joes being on the same side. That's the case with Houston, who's laying 24 to Rice. Houston getting 78% of the tickets. And how about this? 99% of the money against the spread thus far. Penn State is being backed by both the public and the sharps to the tune of 90% of the tickets. As I strain to look, 90% of the tickets on Penn State against the spread, about 73% of the money. And again, these are coming from William Hill. Penn State laying 24 to App State. Akron and Nebraska. Nebraska up to 23.5. They're getting both public and sharp money, and that's pretty high too. Nebraska, 88% of the tickets, 98% of the money taken on the game against the spread on the Cornhuskers. Boston College and UMass, BC and UMass, little Joes versus pros angle here. The public is basically on Boston College to the tune of about 55% of the tickets. Meanwhile, UMass getting 61% of the overall money bet against the spread, which means the sharps are on UMass. The Joes are on Boston College. Both the sharps and the public on Illinois, they're laying about 16.5 to Kent State. And moving down to another Joes versus pros game, Boise State taking on Troy. You know our thoughts on Boise? We believe that they're going to win the Mountain West rather handily. Meanwhile, Troy, a contender in their conference. The Joes or the public, they are 68% on Boise State. Meanwhile, about 54% of the overall money against the spread on Troy. Little Joes pros action going on there. Middle Tennessee State and Vanderbilt. Now, this is an interesting number. Vanderbilt about a 4.5-point favorite. My power ratings say Vanderbilt 2 points better than Middle Tennessee State at this venue. And right now, both the Joes and the pros are backing Vanderbilt at a pretty good rate. Cincinnati and UCLA, the Bruins laying 17. And again, the pros and the Joes on UCLA heavily. Almost 80% of the tickets on the Bruins, 96% of the money against the spread on UCLA. Both public and sharp action on the Washington Huskies. Auburn, a 3-point favorite, according to William Hill right now. I actually make Washington a 1-point favorite in that game, power rating-wise. And so you can see that the pros are agreeing with us, 72% on the Huskies. The public, about 65% on Washington with the tickets against the spread. Skipping down to a Joes versus pros, West Virginia, Tennessee. They're going to battle it out with West Virginia laying 9.5 points in that one. The public, the tickets, 55% on the Mountaineers, but 55% of the money against the spread happens to be on the Tennessee Volunteers. Sharps on Tennessee to a little bit, to a certain extent, and the public coming in on the Big 12 entry. Now, North Carolina taking on California. That's an interesting game because North Carolina has a ton of suspensions in the first couple of games of the season. And right now we're seeing all one-sided action on California. 95% of the tickets, over 95% of the money in this game are on the Cal Golden Bears. They're a good 8.5-point favorite in this game. If North Carolina didn't have these suspensions, I would make California 3 points better than North Carolina. They are 8.5 currently over at William Hill. Both the betting public and the sharps are on Oregon to a big amount over Bowling Green, 87% tickets, 95% money on Oregon over Bowling Green. Oregon laying about 30 there. Thought we'd talk about this one basically because it's a big game of interest, and that's Michigan taking on Notre Dame at South Bend, where Michigan's a 2.5-point favorite. You'll remember when the South Point released their college football games of the year a few months ago, they actually opened Notre Dame 7. Well, Michigan's now a 2.5-point favorite, nothing like a 9.5-point move. My power ratings say that Notre Dame should be 1 in this particular game, so you see where I'm leaning. The sharp money, overall money against the spread on this game, 83% on the Michigan Wolverines. Public a little bit more on Michigan than Notre Dame, but 83% of the money on the Michigan Wolverines in this one. And that line, of course, went from 7-point dog Michigan to 2.5-point favorite. Now, when I say 83% of the money, that doesn't mean that they're still coming in at that rate. Obviously, when the line was a little bit different, you saw some of that money coming in on the Michigan Wolverines. And one final thing to talk about, final game, Virginia Tech taking on Florida State. Joes versus pros here. Florida State lined it up, getting 60% of the ATS tickets, more of a public side, 61% of the money against the spread on the Virginia Tech Hokies. So the pros on Virginia Tech, the Joes or the public look to be on Florida State, where the Seminoles are a 6-point favorite. So there's some updates. I hope you can always go back and watch it again, maybe jot it down with pen and paper and take note of where that action's coming in, at least at the William Hill books all over the state of Nevada, and now in a few other states for that matter. But what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to give you an update, the betting report on where the action is for both the public and the sharper money on this week's preseason football. We did that for you last week. We'll look to do it again here, and we'll have that on Thursday's video. All right, again, 7-star Major League Baseball side going on Wednesday, 46-24 run with our main events in Major League Baseball, 13-3 with our 16 premium plays in the month of August, and we're up almost $5,000 with those plays so far through the first 2 weeks of this month. Don't miss out. That main event available 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. Wednesday's free pick to Major League Baseball. Get it back to Boston Red Sox. So they're laying in that $1.25 to $1.30 range as we cut this video. Early money was, by the way, coming in on the Phillies. But, you know, this is a fair number, I feel, if you want to back the Red Sox. Early money betting against a team that's 51 games above 500, that's 44-20 on the road, that has a plus 214 run differential. Listen, I get it if you don't like Boston, but, you know, you might want to pass. At least I do if I don't like Boston. If I do like the Red Sox, I play them. If I don't like the Red Sox, I pass. It's as simple as that for me, but they are my free pick in this particular game. And wanted to mention about Eovaldi going on the mound for the Red Sox in this one. He got beat up at Camden last time out. That was the game where Boston beat Baltimore 19-12. But he pitched 15 innings of shutout baseball in his first 2 games with the Red Sox. We actually like him here. As far as Velasquez is concerned for the Phillies, listen, he's got a nice whip. There's no doubt about it at home, but he's got an ERA of nearly 4.8 at home because he gives up the long ball. Velasquez is a 1.55 home runs per 9 innings pitched ratio at his home park, and he's walked 8 batters in his last 15 1/3 innings. I just think that's too much offense that you might be given to the Red Sox as far as chances at the plate, and with Velasquez having that hefty home runs per 9 innings pitched ratio at home, we got to bet the Red Sox at this price, $1.25 to $1.30. They are a free play, the Boston Red Sox, on Wednesday. All right, we'll be right back here Thursday, 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific time. We'll have those NFL betting reports available for Week 2 in preseason. If you like what you see, click on that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe. We appreciate those who have done so thus far. All right, right back here Thursday morning. We'll talk to you then. Put them in the win column on Wednesday. I'm Scott Spreitzer, DocSports.com.